My name is Gawina Sipuyun Sakun, right? You might know me in short name is Na. Yeah, you can call me Pina. I think most of you can call me Pina, right? So or Na, that's fine. So I'm from ExxonMobil Limited Thailand. Right? I have been doing this Agile coach type job for a while, maybe more than 8 years already. So today I like to share with you 3 things that you can do differently in case you have to lead any changes within your organization. Okay. But before I start, I like to ask a question. Have you ever gotten any email from your boss at midnight with a subject line like a fork in the road? Anyone get what I mean? My friends shared this news in the live group last week. This is the news that talking about the new CEO of Twitter. You know who is that guy? His name is on the screen. Elon Musk, right? He sent a company-wide email to all employees, and in that email, he asked all the employees to make decision whether you're gonna commit to long hours of working, or you're gonna leave the company, right? And he gave like about 24 hours for you to make decision. If you are the Twitter staff, how do you feel? I'm sure you will not feel anything because you are not the Twitter staff, right? But I'm sure the staff will not feel great, for sure, right? So this is one of the major change that you might have experienced in your workplace. If the owner of the company change, they change the culture, the CEO change, you change your boss, right? You could have so many change coming into your work life. So let's think about it for a moment. Thinking about in a time that you have a major change that you need to adapt in your workplace. What is this all about, right? And if you don't mind, I'd like you to help scan to the QR code and then tell me what do you hear people say at the time that you have changed, or what do you say yourself, right? I have a choice that I believe some of them would match with how do you feel or how the people feel at the time that you have that major change happen. So you can select more than one choice. I hope it's sourced by percentage. All right. Great. So you could see majority of our people in this room go for let's try. So it's an indicator that telling the leader it seems to be good sign, right? If you are the leader, your employee said, let's try the change. Somebody said, how can I contribute even better, right? Can I contribute to the change? I like to act on it. We can do it even better, and I'm prepared whatever come up. Great. So about 17% it says it doesn't make sense. Have you ever heard this sentence? It doesn't make sense, right? So you could notice that even within this room, right, people have emotional journey differently. And that's very important for everyone that need to lead or influence the change, that you need to understand individual experience, how do they feel when you introduce them the change, right? So let's go back to our slide. Thank you very much for all the contribution to this survey. We already think about the time that we are these people who have to embrace the change, right? So let's think about change our perspective a little bit to the side of the leader, right? Who need to lead the change. Does anyone in this room have experience leading any changes before in your company? Can you raise your hand? Wow, so many of you. Have you ever experienced something like this? Resistance to change. Anyone want to share? What have you experienced as a resistance to change? Anyone want to share very quickly? Quiet. Yep. Can I have microphone for him, please?
It's okay, I think I can just.
Sure.
Yeah, I think I've been. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Yogesh. I think I've been going to maybe 2 or 3 change effort in several organizations. I would say in a very quick manner, the most resistance that I experience is basically a big bang change.
Mm-hmm.
And the last change effort that I was involved, it was starting late last year. It's not a big bang change, basically. It's just starting from a group of people, and yeah, it's better. Start with a smaller group of people, and then basically expanding from there.
Right. Thank you very much for you to share. Right. As you said, Big Bang it seems to be hard, right? To bring all people together at one time. Yeah. Today, I'd like to share some technique. Hopefully it's helpful for some of you who might doing any changes right now or need to lead the change in the future. If we could be the guide right here, that we can follow the change with more collaboration from people around you, right? How we can do that? Let me show you 3 things today. So the first one, that whenever you do any changes, you can do differently. Change number 1 is seek first to understand and then to be understood. Right. Second is value all voices. And the third one is focus on people's side. So let's zoom in one by one. First one, seek first to understand, then to be understood. Some of you might be familiar with this term, right? Because this is one of the habits for the 7 habits of highly effective people, right? But today, let me tell you my story in order for you to understand it more. So the story actually happened last year with my company. I got an email from one of my customers inside ExxonMobil. He is a manager that have about 90 to 100 people in his organization. So he sent my team an email asking us to help conduct a research to understand, whether or not his organization have any duplication in terms of role and responsibility, like whether Scrum Master have done something similarly as a product owner or not, and how the team inside his organization have been working together. Are there any conflict or dependency across the team, right? So what I did is I and my team, decided to conduct a research by interview, like doing one-to-one interview with all the roles in the organization. So we end up like interview 15 to 20 people in that organization. And this is one of the interviews that I have with a developer. I talked to him and he told me a story that named Who Owned It. So the story is that developer got an email from one of the customer. He don't know that customer, but he know that the data that the customer needs is supporting by someone in his organization. So, and he checked the tail of that email and found that the customers searching for, the support team for about 2 weeks, still cannot find anyone. No, anyone don't know who is supporting that data system. So he decided to go and talk to the senior architect in the team, which supposed to know, all the system that the organization support, right? But end up it's like architect said, I also don't know who is the customer and who is supporting that data system. Let me check with the other architect. And then that guy just end up that interview showing me, you know what, in my previous organization, everyone know everyone. We were so close like a single organization. And I found it's quite interesting kind of message. The other story, I go and talk to an architect, the different guy than the previous story. That architect told me, we are really happy as an organization. We have been trained with a lot of cutting edge kind of technology. Company give us a lot of training. People feel very happy about it, right? And then he told me, let me tell you one thing. In the past 2 years, I mentor people like five people. And then when they know more about that area, they resign or they move to the other team. And then I spend like 3 to 5 months, mentor the new folk again and again. And then they move or resign again. And let me tell you one thing. I think it is very important for us to stop and think about how we can create sense of belonging for our organization. Right? That's the message that he told me in that interview. And I have done this interview with a lot of people in that organization. They told me a number of the story. And one of the interview I have with the top manager of that organization, he told me the story about his organization. And in the middle of the interview, he said, we are going organically as an organization. And I'm asking him, what do you mean by organically, organic, going organic? And his answer to that question is this sentence. He said, we never stop at any point to think strategically about how we're gonna organize ourselves. We are tactical because of demand, reacting to demand all the time. And that's the message I got from the leader, which told me that actually the leader is actually knowing, know the problem of his organization. So after the interview done, I summarize all of the interview content, connect the dot from every story together. There are a lot of stories to tell, but this is just one of them. I tell them back, I present the leader and the organization back with this story called We Are Growing Organically. So this story happened like 2 years ago. This organization started forming in 2020 with 2 groups of people, around 20 people join at the same time. They work together, they know each other. 7 months later, group 3 joined them. And group 3 serve different customers. So they wonder why I'm here in this organization. They work in silo. Group 3 work together, group 1, group 2 work together. They don't know each other. They don't work together. Then 6 months later, in May, another group joined them. And this time, because of this organization have high demand. So every time they have high demand, the supervisor keep moving people from one team to the other. Sometimes they break team, forming new team based on demand. So not only the change come from outside, internally, they also make change, make unnecessary change within the organization. So that's why people, don't know each other. They moving all the time. Boss changing, team member change. A lot of change happening in short time frame. And you can see that they grow from 20 people to 90 people in less than 2 years. So people looking for a sign of stability, they think a lot of change happening in short time frame. And if you were them, how would you feel? Busy all the time, people moving all the time, people resign. One of the interview I remember, I'm asking who are your team member, and she cannot recall. That product owner cannot recall. Oh, let me think about who is my team member, and she needs to search for some document in order to remember who are my team. She cannot remember. And this is the system kind of animation of how that I create and play it during the report out to the leader as well to show what the impact of demand to their organization. So let me play it to you. So every time they have demand, they create change to the team. Lower sense of belonging, higher number of attrition, lower number of experts, lower number of team maturity, and at the end, so slow speed to delivery. Right? This is how they actually demonstrating the system that they are working for this organization. This is why it's very important for us to understand them first, their situation, their pain point, people, need, and goal, right? And then the next step, after we understand, we form a group of change agents within organization. And this group of change agents actually create this slide and communicate to everybody in organization. The key message here is we hear you. We understand that our organization grows too fast and tactical all the time. And this is how and what we're gonna do to eliminate our challenge and addressing our need. Right? We hear you, we understand. And I think this is perfect example that you need to start for any change to tell your people that we understand what your pain point, and this is why we have to change again, maybe to help you. And then this is what and how we're gonna change. Right? So that is the first thing I like to make sure you do differently every time you start any change. Seek first to understand your people, right, before you kick off any change. So that you can communicate why and what changing. The next step is, now we already understand, then how we can get engagement and collaboration from your people. You need change number 2 here, value or voices. What does it mean, value or voices? That just means you need to listen to everyone. You could not do that right sometimes. What you can do to value our voices is you need to listen to all different opinions. That's the key message. The same organization, then the change never stops for them. Here this year, they're going to have a major change again. Actually this month, this month is effective date for this organization. They're going to have 3 more groups join them in November this year. And you see the number of people. At the beginning they have 90, now they have 455 people. And next year they're gonna go into 900 people organization within very short time frame, right? imagine how you could handle this very fast changing, and you might wonder, what is this organization? What are they doing? Why they have to grow so fast? So they have lesson learned, right? That they grow organically. Now they need to think strategically on how they can still continue to work together in agile way with the number of 455 people within their organization. So they set up a workshop this year in August, and I have a chance to host and organize that workshop for 10 days virtually, because we don't have budget to find people around the world to have face-to-face workshop. So it's done 100% virtual, and we have 112 people participate in that workshop from around the world. Every session we have minimum at 50 people joining that workshop. The goal for this workshop is to understand how we like to organize structure of our system of delivery, or how to structure team and multiple team together in order to still continue deliver product, right, that they support. So in the past, if you have this kind of major change, it could be done just only by the leadership team, right? The leadership team come and talk, they agree on the design, they approve the design, they communicate. This is how we are going to organize, right? That's very common practice for some of the enterprise company. But this time we choose to do it differently. Instead of having only leadership talk and make decision, we invite 25% of organization to join this workshop. And I think it's too courage for leadership to do that way, because it's hard to control, right? Sometimes if you have people with different opinion, they don't agree with you, how you can, facilitate the conversation in the way that you could, they can come up with the final decision and agree on that decision. So that's why I think the key success factor of this workshop is value our voices. And the technique, if you are the leader or you are the facilitator of this kind of workshop, right, that you have different people from different teams come together, you're thinking about we have to move to the new house, we are from different location, now we have to live on the same house. How are we going to live together, right? That's the workshop talking about. And what we did, and I think it's worked well, I like to share with you the 5 principles of facilitation. The first one is you need to make sure you create safe space for people to talk and share opinion. Right? How we could do that? We set the ground rule very clear. Some session we set the role very clear on this is your turn, this is the other person's turn. Make sure they understand their role. And we have an area of debating. You see area of debating that we review some of the options. They could verbally share what they think, whether or not they agree or disagree. And I put a card under their name. You might not see their name over here. But when I see that, okay, this person actually disagree, this person is actually agree, I could, at least, do you want to share your opinion? As a facilitator, you need to make sure you value all voices. You let people talk equally. People with different opinion have to talk equally. People with different rank, leaders, developers have to talk as well. And every time they have conflict, they have strongly disagree, you have to be able to report the weather. I think we are now in high emotional state, But I heard you seem to have some common area that you interest same way. Would you mind turn it to maybe new idea so that we can turn that conflict into transformation, right, to new idea? That's the role of facilitator, that you need to make sure you embrace conflict and turn it to the conclusion and bring awareness to the group. Sometimes you need to reflect what they talk, and sometimes you have a hotspot, right? People interested in this point, you need to tell them, seem like we interested on this point, shall we talk about it? Or in case they find some cool spot. This is, I think, something that you seem to be agree. Do you want to maybe summarize what you have discussed and you seem to be agree on this point, right? So that's something that the facilitator needs to do to bring awareness to the group and then find common area. What can we learn from this story? What I learned is, I could not imagine myself what people feel, right? But this is the feedback we got from the workshop. You could see that people kind of appreciate this way of working because they could, say out, they could share their opinion, and they feel that it's more inclusive, like most inclusive ever workshop. And the key word that I like to show you here is the word transparency. Because people feel that, okay, they heard all the conversation, they understand what the reason behind the decision that have been made, right? It's not like the leader talking and then you just don't know what they talk about, and then at the end they communicate the summary back to you, right? You have no idea why they make decision that way. But doing this, you have engaged in that conversation. You have voiced over your concern, and they heard it during the workshop. So this is something that I like to, bring it to you, and I think it's worked very well. In order for you to get engagement and collaboration from people around you, you need to make sure, and you must make them feel they are important. And this is the quote from Nelson Mandela, the most inspiring leader, right? And he is a great facilitator to facilitate all the conflict that he has in his country. And I do believe this is very important. You need to make people feel they are important. And you do it by, the 5 principles that I share. This is what I have done by myself, and I kind of learned from it as well. So value all voices, right? To get engagement and collaboration from your people. Next one is, then now, we already have decision for how we're gonna structure ourselves. So let's go for the real implementation of the change. And when you need to implement the change, you need change number 3. Focus on people's side. You could not deny that every change, agile transformation, need people to change the way of working. Right? You need to change from individual working alone, that you know and familiar. You need to cross the edge to the other side of the state where it's unknown and unfamiliar for you. You might not have done daily stand-up planning retrospective before. Now you need to do it, right? So this is people side of things. Different people take different time to cross this mountain to the other side. So how could you help them overcome that challenge, right? I like to ask you to watch this 3-minute animation. This is about a little bird, and he have been pushed by his mother, to be self-sufficient. And he had to overcome a fear of water by himself. So let's watch this video and then let's see how you learn from this video. right? I hope you like it, right? It's very, this little bird is very cute. But do you see him, cross the border, right? Cross the edge. The real transformation actually happens when people can move from current state to future state, like the bird. And they will gain more ability, like your organization. If you can transform your organization and people go together with you, you're gonna get more ability for your organization, right? Like this little bird in this video. But he had to, step out from his comfort zone, right? You see his face to the other side, very enjoy moment, right? That he can do it. So every people in your organization have to overcome this step. Somebody might be able to do it faster than the other, right? But you need to get something to support them. So whenever you implement any change, don't forget, to take care of the people side. Sometimes we give priority to, implement system, practices, framework, but we forgot about people. How we could support people to go over that transformation, to move from current state to the future state, to embrace the change, adopt the change, and use it, right? So you need to have a change management, maybe model that could help you, right? If you want to put it to practice, this is the change management model that I have tried. I think it worked well. Some of you in this room might experience this together with me, like Pilek Chakrit, for the Kotter model, 8 steps of change, and the ASCA model is the individual change management. Everybody need to go to this 5 steps. You need to be aware what's changing. You need to have a desire to change. Then you need knowledge. And then you need some practice in order for you to have ability to do it. And last one is you need to reinforce, sustain by having change agent within your organization. Let me share with you the real story that for me that have to go to one of the chain. And I will show you how this example, they use Kotter model to create climate for change. Pilek might know this is the big opportunity, the TBO. So many years ago, I was an SAP analyst in ExxonMobil. And at that time, my organization introduced a chain called the Big Opportunity. So my friend, he had been assigned as a member of urgency team. So the first step that I have seen them started is we have an urgency team. We have people from representative from all the group joining this team. Their role is to create a sense of urgency. So why we need to change what we are changing? Are you urgent? Are you urgent? And we have like an urgency box, put in the office and have like a form that you can sign up. Yeah, I'm urgent, and then I drop that form into the box. And our target for passing this stage is we need to get 50% plus 1, meaning 50% of people plus 1 person, then we done with this state of creating urgency, right? And that's the thing that they start doing. In parallel, leadership get together. I don't know what they are talking in that room, but they came out with this vision statement for the TBO, the Big Opportunity. I still remember the manager that came to Bangkok to communicate this vision. His name is Daryl. He already retired from the company, but I'm still friend with him in Facebook. So he communicated this vision with passionate, and he says something that I really like. It is last statement in this vision. So through this change, we will feel a passionate, innovative, and happy organization that we can power for the rest of our life. So our every win count, be bold. So thinking about your team vision, what would make you feel proud of it for the rest of your life? And that's how they create climates of change. And it's very important as a leader that you need to give time to the vision statement and narrative, right? How you can make it as a leader. I have 4 things that you need to remember when you need to communicate vision. First one is, it needs to be so clear, that you can communicate and your people can get it within a minute or less. Very important. The second one is have to be concise, short, get to the point. Third one, it needs to be compelling, meaningful, and inspirational. Last one, very important, you need to communicate it with confidence, positive, and believable. You need to believe in it so that people believe in it as well, right? As a leadership, you need to show it to them first. And after, your people already, start thinking, I'm urgent, I like to join you, like a Slido at the beginning, how can I contribute, right? Then you need to encourage them to have quick win as soon as possible. Quick win is one of the things that will gain more engagement and reaction from your organization. And win can come at any size. We love them all. And this is the real poster that actually created by people in organization, not by the leadership team. But the leader have to make sure they empower everybody to act on it. Right? So that's the key message. Until this point, you should have a lot of people engaged and take action related to the change that you like them to embrace and adopt. If you can think about your change in your organization and you feel like you are here at this moment, congratulations. you already start the right movement for your organization. So what you can do more after this point, let me show you a 2-minute video.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out, you break ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not 2 nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Okay, so I hope you see how the change started and see how people can build on change. Right? So what did we learn from the video? When you see a lone nut doing something great, be the first one who stand up and follow and show others how to follow. That's the key message. Right? That's how you build on the change. You cannot just be a leader, you need to also be a follower and encourage everybody to follow. Leverage each other idea to create benefit and have transformation happen. Right? So let me summarize what we have learned from this talk. 3 things that you can do differently when you need to change or lead any change or any agile transformation next time. First, seek first to understand, then to be understood. You need to understand people, pain and gain, their needs, so that you can summarize it to be why change, what and how changing. Second, value all voices. Right? You need to make sure you must make people feel they are important. You listen to all different opinions. And what would enable you for success is the principle of facilitation. Last one is focus on people's side. Help people, support them to step out of their comfort zone, overcome the edge of the transformation from current state to future state. You can leverage change management model like Kotter or something else that's fun. Just make sure you also focus on people's side of things, right? And that is about the changing the way you change organization to agile. I actually have a survey that I will prepare, if you can scan the QR code and give me some feedback on what do you like, what do you wish I can do better, would be appreciated. Thank you very much.